Most passionate internet wine show. No introductions really needed to this wine. Babich, listed in the top 50 wine brands in the world recently. Babich, and it's their Irongate from Hawke's Bay, from the Gimlet Gravels. Now, these guys, along with Alan Limmer of Stonecroft, really kind of like took the Gimlet Gravels by storm. It was really difficult kind of growing conditions, really difficult land, formerly a kind of waste dump, and they got rid of all of that. Had go-karts and drag racing down there. So it's really had a kind of varied history. I think even the military had it for a little while. But when you get down there, it's kind of, you'll understand. You have this kind of Gimlet Gravels there, and then you have pretty much Bridgepar Triangle there, which is kind of red dirt. This is all kind of stony soils, and it's that gives the wine and the Gimlet Gravels its character. And they put a kind of geographical indicator on the Gimlet Gravels, and I wish more regions around New Zealand would use this as an example. They do have, I'm not sure, saying that, they used to have a little GI sign on the label somewhere, but I can't see it on this one. But it does say Gimlet Gravels on there. Change of label for these guys as well. You see it's much more kind of classic, more distinguished, regal style of label. They have done a bit of rebranding. Now this is Irongate, only produced in kind of exceptional years. Their Chardonnay is really probably the flagship wine for these guys. But this is the Cabernet Merlot blend. 6 months in kind of oak, 40% new, and then they put together the blend that they think is best, and then they put it back in barrel for another 7 months, which anybody who can do maths quickly, that's 13 months, which means it goes past 2 vintages, or extends into the second vintage. Kind of probably be okay, because we were kind of almost a month behind. Now Hawke's Bay, 2010 good, 2011 suffered a bit of, well, a decimated crop really, and then 2012 the vintage, you know, difficult for these guys. There's some that managed to make or get it in all their grapes. Rain affected, pretty difficult time down there. Good for the industry as a whole, bad for Hawke's Bay. Gisborne, Marlborough seemed to get away, Martinborough were late, Whiteborough were late, Central Otago, vintage of the century so far. You know, you're at nature's mercy really. So anyway, these guys, 96 years old, and you know, kind of almost a century old. So it gives you some idea of the history these guys have got. Family owned, and I expect there'll be a big celebration. What else can I say about this wine? I think they've been making it since 1985, first vintage. Kind of went off the boil for quite a while, and has seen a bit of a resurgence, kind of, but it's still got that prestigious name. Anyway, the wine. It's quite tight. It's one of the things, albeit kind of, we've got this lovely crisp blue sky outside, really kind of hard, cold morning this morning. Wine may be a tad cold, even though I did kind of let it warm up, let it breathe a little. Still so youthful, 2010, and this wine is, 2010, 13% alcohol. It is a Bordeaux style wine. It is built for aging. So and it's fermented dry. It's not very often you get 13% in New World wine, especially kind of these red wines. They usually struggle to get kind of Cabernet ripe, and when they do, the alcohol levels do hit kind of like that 14-15%. There's this, I'm just getting that kind of oak character now at the back, and I get some kind of quite firm, grippy tannin. But then hanging off all of that, I get that kind of pencil shaving, and even though this is kind of only 2 years old, it's still got a few of those little tiny kind of like developer characters that I'd expect in my kind of Bordeaux. This is definitely New World, definitely not Old World, even though they've kind of made it an Old World style and technique. I do like the addition of Cabernet Franc to these wines. I think it gives it a kind of more lifted kind of structural kind of aspect and component. It's not green, it is ripe on the nose, but we're kind of verging on the cusp of ripeness. You do get kind of more bramble, more savoury characters, which is quite a surprise. I thought it would be actually a lot more primary fruit characters. This is kind of a blend of Old World, New World. And then you get the plumpness of the Merlot, which kind of really fills the palate. You get the structure of the Cabernet Sauvignon and the bramble, the little blackberry, not black cherry, but you get the black cherry from the Merlot. It's kind of 34% Cabernet and Merlot, and then you've got Cabernet Franc sitting at 32%. So I like the percentages of each of those grapes. You get almost a kind of that pencil shaving there, and it's the black fruit, and then it's held together nicely in the mouth. I would like to see this in another 10 to 15 years, see how it's developed. I would say that probably 10 plus years is when you're going to see it start drinking at its best. Under Diam as well, they haven't gone the way of kind of screw caps, despite market conditions where things are pretty tight, and any kind of saving that you can make is usually made, especially by the accountants, and tells you the date. I had a wine the other day, kind of nothing on the cork at all. Still quite heavy foil. It's quite a heavy bottle, quite a long, tall, narrow bottle as well. What I do like is I really like the branding that's gone on here, and I like the wine. 92 plus points from me. Until next time.